We bring in my colleague Ibrahim Karanjaman on the ground in Naivasha, where members of parliament allied to the president and also ODM leaders supporting the BBI campaign are meeting. Ibrahim Karanja, good morning. So kindly, first of all, confirm to us reports that President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga could be making their way to that retreat that's happening in Naivasha.
Well, good morning, Brenda. Indeed, it is true that President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to address this delegation of members of parliament and senators today in Naivasha. Also, it is true, and I can confirm that former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga will also be part of the program today, and that's why the members of parliament and senators already here are elated, ecstatic about this particular program. Yesterday, what happened at the onset of this particular retreat is that members of parliament, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate, were taken through the document. I spoke to Majority Leader Amos Kimunya, who said that the intention of this particular retreat was to ensure that each and every member of parliament receives the same kind of understanding of this report, so that they are even able to talk to their constituents once they go home. And one of the members I spoke to yesterday was Mheshimiwa David Kosing of Pokot South constituency, and I want to speak to him today to know the take-home from yesterday's engagements, and also from the engagements including those of the facilitators, Professor Ben Sihanya of the University of Nairobi and other facilitators. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for speaking to us on KTN News. When we spoke yesterday, you were very positive about what this particular retreat will be about. Today we expect the two principals, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, to address this particular meeting. Did you get what you expected from yesterday's engagements?
Yes, I got. And really, it wasn't something that I would say. It was surprising because I had gone through this document myself. I went to Bomas and we got it and went through. And we were looking at the issues that, of course, then narrates very well within our own constituency. And that's why I said yesterday that when you look at it, and we were taken through very clearly, in terms of the issues of creation of World Development Fund, the issue of 35%, the reason why we needed it as 35%. Then we went through the issues of women and disabilities. We went through the entire issues of devolution, national government, the critical issue of CSS, or ministers coming to parliament. It's very critical. Me being a chair of a committee at the moment, I find a lot of problems in Parliament when my colleagues raise questions and statements. Then what do I need to do at the moment? Then I just send to the ministry. And when it comes back to the House, I only read. So the issue of, and there are no further clarifications in Parliament, because then I didn't generate the questions. But if I was, for example, a minister, it would be very easy to sort out issues there and then. And that is what Parliament, members of Parliament want. And that is what we went through. And it was very critical. I'm very happy.
Yes. And you are very happy. And I'm sure after this, most members of Parliament, most senators who are here will be looking on how we are going to fully realize the BBI report. But there is that hurdle that stands in the way. And this comes in terms of legislations. We don't have a substantive referendum bill. We don't have the public participation bill is not yet complete. Perhaps, do you think these hurdles will derail the process? I spoke to Senator Orengo, who says that we should be expecting to go to a referendum by April. Yes. Will these hurdles derail the process?
No, it will not at all, in my view. And if you look at the law, I want to drive Kenyans to Article 257 of the Constitution. You know, there are 3 articles of the Constitution that give us clearance in terms of referendum. Article 255, 256, and 257. And specifically coming to 257. 57 means what? That you collect signatures. And then after collecting signatures, it goes to county assemblies. After county assembly, it comes to National Assembly and Senate. Then after that, it's a referendum. So it's already there. You know, the debate among, maybe those are the naysayers who would like to delay this process or something like that and something like that. So I will assure you, in my reading of the Constitution, the infrastructure to carry a referendum in this country is available. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Allow me, before I come to you, Mheshimiwa Mwaura, I don't know, I had Senator Gati, but anyway, one of the things that is coming up is that most proponents of the BBI are saying that by April of this year, we should be having a new constitution, or we should be going to the referendum. And yesterday we also heard from members of parliament saying that they are not going, or we are going to focus on this document as is. You're one of the leaders who still have an issue with the proposed amendments or with the proposed report. Do you think you have room to bring in your concerns and that they'll be heard, given that most are saying the train has already left the station?
I don't think anybody can beat their chest and say, or thumb their chest and say that it's actually the train has left. Look at this. I am the Senator for People with Disabilities. This is the Office of the Senator for People with Disabilities. In the Senate now, there is no person with disability to represent others. So what we are saying is that we cannot have a representation that is already in the 2010 Constitution being removed. And that is why we are saying out of the 94, we add another 2 or 4 slots, a man and a woman or 2 men and women. Right now we are 2 of them. In the County Assembly we do the same. But most importantly, and also in the National Assembly, the multiple member constituencies, as proposed in Article 97 amendment, at least one in the multiple should be a person with disability. So that if you have a constituency that we may end up with 3 MPs, one of them should be a person with disability. And that way you'll be properly elected by the people through the party, and the party has control. But the giveaway for Wanjiko is the removal of the word disability in Article 260 and replace it with a person with disability as per the CRPD, the Convention of the Rights of People with Disabilities, which is a human rights-based definition. Now, under Article 54, separate appointive and elective positions. So that appointive, the 5% is mandatory. So that if you are recruiting sweepers, 5 of them out of 100 are people with disabilities. Even cabinet, out of 22, you'll have at least 1 who is a person with disability. Appointive is easy to get, but for elective, make it progressive. Because you cannot force people to elect a person with disability. So it will be a win for the common Wanjiko who has a disability. It will also guarantee their representation in the decision-making organs. Because if you are not, as we have said before, if you are not at the table, you are on the menu. Certainly, the BBI report recognized the fact that people with disabilities need to be included. In fact, it goes ahead and says there are 2 bills. The Persons with Disabilities Bill and the Kenya Sign Language Bill. These 2 bills have been sponsored by myself and Senator Gertrude Musuruve. But ironically, the same representation has been removed. Tomorrow, we are going to have public participation in the Senate on my bill. But what if, even now here in Naivasha, and you saw me, they gave me this memorandum here yesterday. They sent me here together with others. What if we were not here today? Who would be representing them? So those are the pertinent questions that we are asking, and we are saying, we are not saying you throw the baby with the bathwater. I don't agree with those who are saying that we should not open. But let us correct the little things that are there and then move forward as a country. We cannot be building bridges of communities and breaking the ones for people with disabilities.
Thank you so much. And Brenda, there stands out the kind of discontentment that is with the BBI report and a very important position which President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga must play is to be able to bring or to marshal their troops to a consensus. Aden Kinan is the MP Elders constituency and also the Joint Secretary of the Jubilee Coalition in PG. And Mheshimiwa, we know that there's that very critical position which President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga must play to bring consensus amongst issues that have also been raised by some senators, by members representing persons living with disabilities. What do you expect from the two principals today?
First of all, I think, as I've said before, constitutional making process is very complex, very dynamic, and therefore we will not have a situation where everybody agrees on both the letter and the spirit of any document. No, that has never happened anywhere in the world, and I don't think whether Kenya will be the first country. Having said this document is the culmination of the 9-point agenda clearly spelled out in the handshake. If you look at it, this issue, this BBI first document and this second document has been in the air for quite some time. People have interrogated. What we have today is for Kenyans to go through the document, read for themselves, analyze, contextualize, and make an informed decision. What the two principals actually are going to do is not different from what they have done before. Is to, bring their troops together, help them go through the document, and ultimately prepare the document, the country for a referendum. This document, again, I think there's a fallacy. This document has 3 aspects. There is the legislative proposal, which is going to be 100% within the purview of Parliament. Meaning, therefore, public participation and the critical role of members of Parliament is still within Parliament, and that must be undertaken by Parliament. The other bit is the policy reform that has been spelled out in the document. That, again, is expected from the executive to sit and analyze the lacunas, the loopholes, the challenges in the policies that we have had. Like one of the things that we were told is since independence, we do not have a tax policy pronouncement. This is the opportune time to spell out that particular. We were also told that Kenya, being one of, is a very dynamic country, very dynamic, very diverse, and therefore there are certain things that we can do right now for inclusivity, meaning therefore the issue of devolution, which is at the heart of everybody, has been emboldened, meaning right now more resources will be allocated to the counties, more resources now will go to the villages, and in fact the introduction of the word development fund takes development further to the villages. So what the two principals actually are expected to do is to bring their troops together, to unite the country, because this document is supposed to be an inclusive document. But again, because of politics, you do not expect 100% consensus. This is why at this stage, people must read the document and make an informed interrogation where there are issues. Where there are issues, bring it to the table for discussion, and an informed decision will be made.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa, I'll ask you a question based on what you said very lastly, and that is before I bring Mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi. But my question would be, you sit in a very, or in position of authority in that you're the Joint Secretary of the Jubilee Coalition. There are members or a section of the Jubilee Coalition that feel left out in this entire process. These are members allied to Deputy President William Ruto. Yesterday in Tharaka Nithi, they said that if their inputs will not be considered, then they might stop the reggae. So why was it done this way? And is there a chance for these particular members of parliament to also come and get to learn what or have the advantage that the current members of parliament in Naivasha are having?
You know, right now we are having the COVID crisis, and there's strictly the Ministry of Health guidelines on how to, the modus operandi on this particular pandemic. And I think the message was very clear that this is just the beginning. You cannot have all the members of parliament, the 416 members of parliament under this state. The message was very clear. This is the first group. There will be the second group. And everybody will be given an opportunity to participate in the discussion, in the discourses, in the consensus vision, and ultimately in the preparation of the referendum actually for the people of Kenya. So politics aside, everybody will be given an opportunity to participate in this. And therefore, I don't see this member belongs to this. No. Every member of parliament will be given an opportunity. And indeed, they have an opportunity. And therefore, what remains right now is this is group one. There will be an opportunity for group two to participate. And therefore, let's put politics aside. There will always be room. Let's interrogate the document. Let's read the document. Let's make an informed decision. And I think that is what is going to help the people of Kenya move forward.
All right. Thank you so much. And very importantly, Brenda, let me bring in Mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi. We want to see, even if Mheshimiwa Kainan says that there will be a second chance, of course it will take political turns in that what will the other side say? Why were they considered at the second chance? Why were they not mixed up together? And Mheshimiwa, that's where I'll start with you, if you may only come closer. Many would argue that since there are people with different stances, especially those allied to Deputy President William Ruto, then all of them should have brought in together so that we agree to disagree. But it seems like the pro-BBI will come in alone, and those anti-BBI will also do their own retreat alone. Will that help in reaching a consensus for the report?
Yeah. No, that's quite important that as a nation we must work together, we must have a document in unison. But remember, this is not a document that just propped up yesterday. For the last 2 years, the BBI has been calling for views from Kenyans. They have gone around 47 counties. They have done that twice. And they have called for Kenyans from all walks of life to present their views in regard to what needs to be changed. Now, those members who are saying they have been secluded from this process, they never presented their views to the BBI. They never believed in the process from the word go. If all members presented, my name is in that booklet. I presented my views in regard to youths. Not all were captured, but at least what I presented is inside. Now, no single member of public has come out to say that whatever he presented before the BBI has not been captured. None whatsoever. The people who are saying they have been left is because they never even wanted to present their views. So if you've been asked to present your views, you don't want. Now the book has come up. The book is a collection of views from all Kenyans. Now you just come and say, there is a very common cliche that politics is the art of looking for trouble, looking it from everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedy. That's what they are doing.
What is the way forward? We have had reports of the start of collection of signatures. Are you in support of that? And after the collection of signatures, we know the county assemblies will have to pass it before it comes to the National Assembly. And this happens when even those who are supporting BBI, including senators who are here, feel there's still room for improvement. Yet, you seem to be suggesting that the document goes as is. What follows from here?
No, I'm not suggesting that the document should go, because personally, I'm one of the people who hold the views that it needs amendment. What we are saying that those who have refused to recognize the process should not derail us. If there are people who have a genuine concern, and we've listened to them, some are very genuine, we share, why can't they produce it in a form of a document and call for a press conference and ask that this is our views, kindly help us to reach the BBI wherever they are, we present them. Nobody will reject, and later on they'll say, remember we presented these views before a national press conference, they were never captured, so we are not going to be part and parcel of this process. Kenyans will listen to them. But you've refused to be part of the process. They tell you, come and present your views you don't want. It means you didn't want and you didn't believe in the process from the word go. Some of us, we've said we are here because we feel that there are amendments that needs to be done in this document. Fully, before we go to the collection of signatures, we need to amend.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. And of course, your sentiments is likely to open a can of worms for every person who holds different views on BBI. But Brenda, even as this training goes on, remember that what they are focusing on in the entire BBI document, there are proposals that do not necessarily need constitutional amendments. There are proposals that just need policy reviews and others that need legislative or pieces of legislation. And these are some of the things that these members of parliament are looking at. And in terms of the support base that this particular report seemed to be having, of course, owing to what we saw at Bomas of Kenya, all parties, including KANU, then when chairman was represented by Nick Salat, all parties seem to have supported, because as we speak, KANU chair and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi is also attending this particular retreat. Also, another party leader attending is Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula. And it, of course, now President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, the leaders of the two of the most largest or the biggest parties in the country. So it really brings in or opens up months of campaigns, both pro and anti the BBI process. And let's see if the timeline that the proponents of BBI are giving will truly work out, and what kind of opposition the other side, allied to Deputy President William Ruto, is planning.